Good morning. It's a less than ordinary Saturday morning somewhere in the inner hearts of our country. Uh, I've been pretty busy over the past couple of weeks. A lot of work has been coming up, being out there looking for new work as well. So I haven't got the time to put up a video, but trying to put up this video now to kind of just talk a little bit about how this entire situation with the coronavirus has just exploded in our country now. Going back, rewinding about a year back, I was in a different part of the country. I'm not going to tell you what city. A lot of you probably already know that. And at that time, when the initial lockdown was announced by the government, uh, one of the things that people don't seem to understand is that our country has the second largest populace in the world. And if you start comparing our country to other developed nations that not only have, let's say, lesser populace, but also lesser land area, and when I mean compare, I mean in terms of policy, administration, and all the moving parts that make a governmental administration run. You're basically doing an apples to oranges comparison. Now, we're not going to talk about that right now, but what I'm going to talk about is how, during that time when the prime minister of our country announced the 21-day lockdown, it was, if I can use the term, brutally enforced by law enforcement, by anybody who's out there that was part of the civic enforcement team. They want to make sure people stay indoors, is because the kind of clustering that we have in our country, the kind of population density we have from metropolises to suburban to urban to rural, it's pretty massive. So it's huge. Folks are really, really close to each other. So you want to be absolutely aware that that's the way that our country has been demarcated. So it's not only geography, it's socioeconomic as well. Now, this new strain, and I haven't done any research on it yet. I've just read whatever comes down the pipes from news outlets. But I did get a chance to read a really small research paper a couple of days ago, which I shared with my parents and some very, very close friends, about how these two scientists over in Belgium had kind of identified that this new virus now, this more potent strain now has a sheet around it, or has a different kind of layer. Now, I can't get into the details right now because I haven't done complete research, so I don't want anybody coming up and saying, hey, you don't know a lot about this, because I don't. I'm not a scientist in medicine or biology and so on. So just to kind of put this point out there, that stay indoors, take those necessary precautions. There were people last year who were suffering because of the lockdown, jobs suffered, people couldn't get to work. There were a lot of people who were doing a lot of side hustles that kind of just stopped. Uh, a lot of people suffered in terms of a lot of workers, a lot of laborers had to move shop, had to get back home. There was no way for them to get transported. A bunch of Bollywood celebs jumped on the bandwagon, sent a few people home, and all that. So for this one time, be the smart one. Don't be a morona. Do not step out until absolutely necessary. And if you do step out, cover your face, wash your hands, maintain social distances, even between your friends and even your family members for that matter. You do not want to end up in a hospital during this time. It's highly dangerous. It's going to be very bad for your friends and families. When they worry about you, it's just going to go downhill from there. Now, apart from that, you also want to take care of the folks who may not be as well off as you. So, for example, I've always tried to help the best I can to folks who are either the lady who comes to work at our house, or the person who does our laundry, uh, or just kind of helping the local guy who sells a lot of stuff to us in terms of groceries, etc. Now, one can say that, there's a lot of people that need help, but you got to start small. You got to start somewhere. That is something that cannot be taught. That's something that just comes from within. You want to get out there and help a couple of people. And if everybody starts doing that, you will see change and you will see massive transformation. And I just don't mean help by kind of giving them what they need in terms of daily necessities, but I'm also talking about enabling them. I've always been a huge fan of enablement. And I think that's something where we, as an entire democracy, suffer. We just don't like enabling each other. We just love pulling each other down. And that is something that is going to push us even further backwards. Now, one can keep on crying and whining about how things don't work out the right way, and that will continue. There's always good and there's always evil. And that's basically the way the world works. But there's one thing that you should know. You gotta have the balls and you gotta have the spine to stand up for what you believe in. And you gotta get out there and get what you need. Right now, your priority is your health, your physical health, your mental health. Use this time. Enable yourselves. Enable people around you. Make sure that the next iteration or the next phase of your life and their life is highly productive and has everything that gives them that kind of gives them that push or that power to surge forward. So for now, I'm going to cut this video just for the time being. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel. It hasn't gained any critical mass yet, but I don't care. I'm going to keep doing this. And best of luck and stay safe to all my friends out there in the United States and Europe. You guys know who you are. It's been a long time that we guys haven't hung out together or haven't even spoken, but stay strong and the times will change. So like this video, subscribe the video, the usual 9 yards of plugging what I'm doing. So, and if there's something that you might want me to talk about or address in the coming few days, because this weekend I've decided I'm going to go overboard. And just as a, like a side angle, I also downloaded and I basically bought a couple of really cool games from the mid 2000s. I got Arkham Knight, Batman, I got Assassin's Creed 3. So I'm kind of exploring that creative side of video games when the storyline used to be really brilliant. So, just kind of ease the mind out and then get to the next level. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. Put in some comments if you want me to make some different kind of videos on different topics. And stay safe, stay strong, watch out for each other. The times might be bad, but bad times don't last forever. The toughest MOFOs do. Take care. I'll see you guys really soon.